This module is called Wet and Grimy, and you'll understand why when you start to audition the sounds. As I've mentioned in all of the demo videos, if you need to know how every slider, knob, dial, etc. functions, you can either download the manual or you can go and watch the drum video tutorial, which is on the main drum page, and that goes into detail about what all these functions are, how to use them, etc. I particularly like this one because I wanted it to be strong colored. I've made sure all these dials change color from red to orange. These ones go to orange and brighten up. This one goes through a bunch of colors. I just love the whole audio-visual approach to music. It's nice to look at something that you enjoy playing with. Okay, so let's just sample some of the let's just audition some of the drum samples on this kit. So you can hear why it's called Wet and Grimy. They're very deep and quite dirty samples. All the drum modules are based on a single preset that spans across 5 octaves, but you get a kit in each octave. So you've got 2 kicks, 2 snares, a clap, and the hi-hats. And then in between, I've either put scratch samples, depending on the type of kit I'm going for, or percussive. And this particular preset is all percussive. So I'll just run through some of those sounds. And I found that those samples pretty much complement the rest of the kit. Now, when you download one of these modules, you get 3 kits in each module. You get 3 kits in each module. You get the primary kit, which is the dry kit, in effect this one here. Let me bring that ambience down, which is what I've just played for you. So all the sounds aren't really treated there. And then there's 2 variations, and those are with edits that I've applied, and you can see just by the changes in the knob colors that I've turned them to create specific textures from each sound. And the reason I did that was to display what these modules can do, but feel free to do whatever you like. So, and what I'd like to do here is just sort of go from one dry kit to the processed kit so that you can hear the difference in the sounds and how they've been treated. So let's try that. And what I'd like to do now is we'll just take one sample and go through a very brief warping process. Yeah, why not? Let's work with that clap. It's nice and squelchy, but I'm sure we can do a lot more with it. So let's go and select the clap here, which is there. Now let's give it some fat. Now let's give it some fat. That'll do is crunch it up a touch. That's too much. That's nice. We could also add some width so we can spread this. Yep, let's leave it up there. It sounds like it's on the top of everything, which I quite like. Now let's play around with the filters. Sounds nice, but it's not what I'm after. If I hit it and keep my finger down, filter closes. If I let go, it doubles up. So we'll just open that just slightly, so we can give it that little flick effect. That's nice. We don't need crackle. Now what we can do is take the kick next to it. Now let's use this one because it hasn't got too much happening on it, so we can really process that. That's on C2. Now if I take this fat dial all the way, it'll start to distort. I deliberately created it to have a tone of distortion underneath. Let's take C#2, which is the kick. Oh shit, we're on the grimy kit. And now we'll go to the kick next to it, which is here. Let's filthy that up. Let's filthy that up. What I like about the fat dial is I made sure to allow for some distortion when pushed right to the end. So it's actually a tonal distortion which sits under the layer. So let's do it with this kick sound. You can hear that right at the bottom. If we tune it down, get that dirt, we can crunch it up further. Give it nice metallic sound underneath. Now we can go and play with the filters. And now what we'll do is we'll go and we'll go and process one of the kicks next to it. That sounds nice. Let's do that one. That should be C2. What we can do with this is apply more fat, and what I've done is to create this particular effect. Well, it's actually a series of a bunch of effects and a dynamic. I've deliberately made sure that when pushed, this will end up giving you a distortion tone under the sound that you've got. You can hear that nice little rasp, so we can crunch that further. Just giving it that metallic type of flavor. Now we can go and filter it. Tune it down. Give it some width. There's lots of other things we can do. Let's go to another kick. That's quite nice. That's C#1. Let's give it a bit of fat. Lovely. What I did was to make sure to create a specific fat dial that's a series of chain effects with a dynamic at the end. The idea being that the more you push this, the more distortion you get apart from the fatness. And if you take it towards the end, you end up with a distorted tone under the sample that you're actually playing. And that gives you these sort of long type of throbbing effects. Like that one. If we brought that down, you just get the bigness. Now we could go here and play around with filters and crush it and end up with really nasty sounds like that. You could even detune it. But what I'll do now is just fatten it. Bring the crunch down as well. Little bit of ambience. And let's play with the filters. Let's bring that down here. Shut that off, bring that down. Give it a little here. What we can do now is go and say process a kick. That's nice. What I've done with the fat dial is, apart from chaining a series of effects and a dynamic at the end, I've made sure that the more you push the fat dial, apart from the fatness that you get, you end up with a distorted tone that sits under the sample and uses the tonal qualities of the sample to push a distortion value out. So with a kick like this, that's nice and boomy, it's got a tonal flavor. So I know that by using this, I can get more of that distorted tone under it, that it actually ends up rasping. You can hear it coming in. Lovely. And if you pitch that down, crunch it up, make it even filthier. But for now, we'll just go for some fatness. You got two choices. You can add ambience to make it sound boomy, or you can give it some width, which I don't like doing on kick drums, particularly boomy ones. Spreads them too wide and they start to collapse. And what we can do with this is we can either give it volume, or we can go in and start to give it some filter. Lovely. Let's tighten it up and give it a little rubbery attack. So we got that snare, that clap that we played with. So we've got that clap that we created, and we've also got the kick. But feel free to do whatever you like. Everything is here designed specifically for you to mash everything up. So don't be scared to use it. You can get very wacky effects just by using simple samples. That one can go into that or this. Standard snare into that. And there's loads and loads you can do here. Just enjoy yourself, warp things, destroy things. If you create something nice, just drop me an email and a link to it, and I'd love to hear it. Otherwise, thanks very much for downloading this, and thank you for visiting my site.